Well, let's get to it then. Let's get to it. What are the key things to look out for here? How do you see this fight turning?
Well,
what style of fight will we get? Will we get a pure striking matchup?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it really depends on Prochazka, because Prochazka, for him to win fights, he explodes and crashes into you, and he will throw a variety of things from there. Jump knees, he'll throw big single shots. And also the rear leg kick to the body, he'll throw that a lot. He'll also pump the jab up, pump the jab to the body with the right straight behind it, up top. So he'll use the jab in a sort of variety way. But it is, for him, and he has talked about this as well, it is a flow thing. So the Dom Reyes knockout, that spin elbow, where he threw the right elbow, up against the cage, went past him, and he just came back round with the left. And he said he didn't plan it, he felt it. He felt like, right, I can throw this spin elbow and I'll see what happens. That is what Prochazka wants. He wants to create this constant energy, create this crashing motion, and then react in the moment to it. Now, you're smirking in a way of like, this guy just sounds like a lunatic who has no idea what he's doing. However, I do think that it is an acknowledgement on his end that for him to win fights, he does have to just explode and crash in off of whatever he feels like throwing in that moment.
Well, I guess what it brings to the front of my mind is that, we know that Pereira likes to slowly march forward and build the pressure on you. And how do you reconcile these two fighting styles? That's the key thing we're going to see very early on. It's hard to imagine that, given the fundamentals that Pereira has and the way he likes to fight, that Jiri's going to be able to create that type of fight. I don't think Pereira is going anywhere. I don't think you lure him into... he's durable, and also he has those tools, those weapons, those strict fundamentals which stop him getting kind of pulled into this kind of crazy space where Jiri likes to operate. Or does he? Does he just get caught in a crazy gunslinging match where the movement is frenetic? He's not able to just slowly march forward, as we've seen him do now in all of his fights. I find that hard to picture myself.
Yeah, it's. I guess you could say that the Adesanya rematch in MMA, where Adesanya kind of baited him in with this sort of peekaboo thing, and then exploded from being shelled up as he caught Pereira in between punches. The problem with that approach is that that's time limited, for one, because you ain't going to be able to take too much of that. And it's time limited also in terms of timing as well. Like, you've got to be on him quickly. You have to figure out his timing quickly. And I do think Jiri will have success in this fight if it goes anything past the first round. I think he will be able to have success. That first round is going to be super crucial to this. It's going to be intriguing what's going to happen here, because I talked about Jiri's approach of the exploding in, creating the chaos, trying to make things happen in the moment. Pereira, on the other hand, is disguise, because you think Pereira, you see him come out, he has this upright stance, his hands are low, they're kind of, like this sort of stuck by his side, and then he explodes from there. But he has really clever little tricks. So, for example, when he sets up the jab and he's in orthodox, he doesn't lunge into the jab. He brings his rear leg forward, so he closes his stance, and then he disguises his jab step with that. So he'll get the jab in there, and then he'll pull back from there, and then throw the hook off from the rear hand from there. He will also use high kicks to draw you in. So what he'll do is he'll throw a high kick, not necessarily to knock you out, but it'll be so that I've thrown the high kick, now I'm moving and I'm having to reset, and then he wants you to come in, and then he'll throw a lead hand left hook from there. That is a very common Pereira trick and move that he goes for. So I think a lot of this fight will be actually Alex moving forward into him to then come backwards and bait him in to something bigger. The body jab, as we know, the Sean Strickland body jab that he landed and threw repeatedly, that is going to be in action a lot here for Pereira against Prochazka. And also I think Pereira will have learned from Glover, which is that double jab that Glover accidentally threw where he threw the double jab with the right straight behind it and cracked Prochazka in the 5th round of their title fight before he went to that guillotine, which was just a terrible move. Glover would have been champion. He still would have been champion otherwise. We've seen it before with falling into guillotines, Joe. Exactly. And we ain't going to see Pereira do that.
Don't do it, kids.
yeah, exactly. So I think that will be the main thing, which is Prochazka blitzing in and Pereira disguising his steps in and his step backwards. So that will be the motion that we'll mostly see in this fight. It's whether then who is going to land the biggest shots first, really. It is who's going to go first. Because they always talk about first and third. Like, you want to be at the start and at the end of the combos. I don't even think third comes into this. I think it's first. Really, Tom, that is what I'm sensing and feeling in this moment. And I get the sense you feel the same as well.
I do. I certainly do. I just, when you break it down for us like that, Joe, I can't help but feel that Jiri's there to take that bait. Jiri will be pulled in to fire those shots. He's there to be countered, and he can be hit. As you mentioned, Glover Teixeira, MMA training partner of Pereira, was able to pull that off at 43 years old with a background in jiu-jitsu and
grappling and
exactly. Now you just think, what a man with the kickboxing repertoire that Pereira has. He's gonna land shots on Jiri. Does that chin hold up? Does it hold up in that scenario? I feel like in the Teixeira fight, Jiri was a little bit exposed. Did great to pull it off, to get through it, but you have to look at the reality of that fight, where they're both at in their careers, the tools they have at their disposal, and as you say, Glover was minutes away from winning.
Yeah. Glover was on a legendary run at that stage as well. Like, that was one of the all-time great late career runs as well. Like, so I want to give Glover a bit more credit in that moment. Like, he had figured something out and he had found something out about himself, that he was a world champion all along. It's just the problem was you had Daniel Cormier and John Jones in your division. They always talk about, Gustafsson would have been the light heavyweight champion if those two weren't there. I don't necessarily agree. I think Glover would have been there with Gustafsson. I know that Gustafsson beat Glover, but I don't know. It just felt like this crucial breakthrough moment that he got through just at the end. And
well, I think Glover's big problem was a certain Rumble Johnson.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was a bad one, wasn't it? Anyway, going back to this, Tom, we've gone off track there. It's it's so tantalizing, isn't it? Because we can talk about the X's and O's, we can talk about the theme, we can talk about the imagery of it, but when it comes down to it, is this going to go the distance? Like, will this go 25 minutes? And if it does, what will that look like? And if it goes that far into the 4th and 5th rounds, who will be in control of it? Like, are we going to just have rounds that are just clear for one guy, or is it just going to be literally moment to moment who is in charge of this fight?
I mean, I will say I found it interesting in your preview, Joe, mentioning that you see the advantage swinging towards Jiri as the fight wears on. I'm not convinced of that. You have to really walk me through.
Oh, I don't necessarily agree. I don't remember saying that. I actually do think that they both have an advantage going into later rounds. Like, Jiri has got cardio is one of his weapons as well. Like, there's a fight in Ryzen that I always like to bring up, which is the Vadim Nemkov fight, okay? The current Bellator light heavyweight champion. And Nemkov could have a claim to being the best light heavyweight in the world. Jiri beat him because Nemkov retired on the stool at the end of their first round. It was a 10-minute first round. That's what they did in Ryzen. And he retired on the stool because Jiri just kept going, even when, like, Nemkov was on top of him, beating him up, and he got exhausted from that because of Yuri's action from underneath. And there was a bit where, at the end of that round, Nemkov's on top of him. Ref's like, all right, end of the round. Jiri springs up, goes to the corner, and Nemkov is like dead. He's dead to the world. And I do think Jiri does have cardio and pace that he can weaponize against people. I just wonder if Pereira will fall for that And if, because of that, Pereira will invest into body work early on. The jab to the body, hooking to the body as well.
Well, certainly I think he will, Joe. I think something I wanted to just add in here to kind of evidence our discussion is the significant strikes by target of either thigh. Alex, very diverse, 41% going to the head, 35% to the body, and 24% down to the legs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very, very diverse offering. And we know he has a kind of consistency in his pace through the fight also. Jiri, on the other hand, is the extreme, periods of peak explosion, going back within himself for a little bit and exploding again. And his significant strikes by target, 85% to the head. 3 strikes landed to the legs in his UFC career so far.
What?
3, Joe. Yeah.
So okay. Right. And Pereira has got... Oh, my God. Wait, did he throw one in each fight? One leg kick in each fight, basically? Oh, my Lord. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is on the official UFC page. I haven't actually got a record of these 3 strikes. I didn't count them myself, but right. I'll take it. We're having some accuracy. Quite telling.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, I'd like to hear your prediction.
I've gone for an Alex Pereira knockout win. I think he's gonna get him. I love Jiri. He's one of my favourite fighters. I really loved him in Ryzen. I love Alex Pereira. This guy is he defies all logic, really, when it comes to mixed martial arts and combat sports in general. But it's going to happen, is it? Yuri's going to explode in, and he's going to be a little bit too far away for him to land, but he's going to be in the right perfect place for that left hook. And he's going to go down. Yeah. He's going to go down. Pereira knockout, I am seeing the left hook.
When you create so many opportunities like Jiri does, you leave so many openings. It doesn't even need to be something super crisp. The timing just has to be right. Little check hook when you've overextended, and that can put you away. So I think it's a very sensible choice, Joe, to pick Pereira. I will tell you that I have picked Prochazka to win this fight. Yes. I have done that despite talking him down this entire time. Let me explain it to you, Joe. Pereira, he also leaves openings. He gets, he does get seduced into a certain kind of fight. As you mentioned, his recent loss to Adesanya, where, he thought he was kind of peppering him, working him against the cage, and he wasn't. And it didn't really take a whole lot to put him down. He has been hit consistently by effective strikers. And Prochazka has a propensity to hit you hard on the chin and fold you. Tremendous power, upper weight class. And the X factor, of course, is if we get this breaking of Pereira's rhythm, what kind of scrambles, clinches, takedowns might we see? Ultimately, you have to give the edge to Jiri there. Not that we looked into it a whole lot in this preview, but I picked Jiri Prochazka to win this fight by KO.